do 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 do. Wow, wow. Just humming along with the Mad Men theme. I love that show. I think that is the best thing on television. I love Mad Men. It is so magnificent, and every episode just ratchets it up. Who's going to go down that elevator shaft? Somebody is. You know they are. You know, there was an episode, one of the previous episodes of the season, Don, the elevator doors open, and he catches himself, realizing there's no elevator car there. And you know they're leading that up to somebody, probably in the last seasonal episode, which comes up in 2 weeks, is going to go down the shaft. Who's it going to be? I think it's going to be Lane. I think because he's got that kind of embezzlement thing going on there, and he's been shady with the money, and he deserves it. But it's a great show. Oh, and it's funny, Mad Men, it's really about the women, I mean, the women are all, it's Don, Don Draper, the fake man, so to speak, with the fake identity, but it's the women, it's Peggy and Joan and his wife, his ex-wife. They're pulling the strings in Don's life. There's my new phone. So today I like to eat healthy. They say eat lots of salads. Salads are good for you. Greens are good for you. So I'm sitting there having my salad at lunch. A tuna fish sandwich. A Whole Foods tuna fish sandwich. It costs $6, and I'm having this beautiful big salad. And I'm eating it, and all of a sudden I knock over the salad dressing. It spills all over my camo pants. Not these ones, but the ones I was wearing. So I'm finishing up lunch, and I think, I guess I better wash the pants. It's going to stain. It's a mess. And I have other laundry to do, so I take them over to the laundry machine and throw everything in there. I clean up my pants, right? I got my wallet, and I got some other junk, and I'm okay, throw the pants in the damn machine, run them. It comes out, and I'm taking the stuff out of the washer, and I'm feeling the pants. I'm going, there's something in the pocket down here. And I pull it out, and it's my cell phone. And it is like waterlogged, and I open up the back, and it's this old cell phone. It's a cell phone I got in 2005. It's actually worked for 7 years. Cheap, $20, used to be Singular, now AT&T Go cell phone. And I open up the back, and the SIM card is literally disintegrated. It's one of these old SIM cards, and it's like the little metal cover pops off, and it's gone. So anyhow, I had to drive a friend over to Town Center anyway here in Reston, stop by the AT&T store. They're very nice. Bought me another $20 phone. Got me a new SIM card, transferred the service over. Everything's great. But again, a number of my contacts, for some, I just had them on the cell phone, so I lost all that. So hey, if you're one of those folks that calls me on my cell phone, it's the 703-409 number, and give me a call one of these days and just let me get your number back, because some of the folks there that do call me a lot, I don't have your numbers anymore. I should have written them down, but I'm just too friggin' lazy. So anyhow, yeah, I marched into the 2012 with a new cell phone after 7 years. I'm a technology Luddite. Ay. So anyhow, not a lot of big news today on the day after Memorial Day here in the Washington Metro Zone. I'm looking here and there's not a heck of a lot of stuff going on. But one of the things that I did think was kind of interesting, even if it isn't a Washington market story, is the fact that Cumulus, which owns WMAL, news talker here in Washington, and they moved WMAL over to FM back in September to not terribly great ratings, is starting a news talker in Atlanta. Now, Atlanta is one of the largest markets in the country that doesn't have a news talk. An all-news station. They started an all-news station in Atlanta, not a news talker. Atlanta is one of the markets in the country that doesn't have, but the big markets in the country, it doesn't have an all-news station. They have a news talker, old WSB, for years and years and years has been their news talker. And WSB is a lot like WBAL in Baltimore in that they run a newsy wheel in the mornings and I guess the afternoons too. And then the rest of the day it's talk. That's what BAL does. That's what a lot of news talkers do. That's what the WRVA in Richmond does. And that's what they do. It's kind of it's news in the mornings and afternoons and then talk the rest of the day and on the weekends. But not a traditional all-newser where it's just news, that cycle, 10-minute cycle, a 15-minute cycle over and over again, like WTOP here in Washington. So it's interesting to see Cumulus starting an FM all-newser in Atlanta, which kind of gets people wondering, might they be thinking about doing something like that here in Washington? One of my radio gurus sends me a clip to link to one of the radio sites, All Access, and about these all news are starting. And it says, they launched today. Sounds less rocky than some of the Merlin all news stations or even WNEW. WNEW CBS launched that here in Washington. Makes you wonder if Cumulus would want to do this here in Washington, here in D.C. with WMAL. But they may be scared off by how poorly CBS is doing with its all newser in D.C. Now, that's an interesting line of thought. Would Cumulus really seriously consider moving WMAL into a more of an all-news format? I kind of say no. Because a couple reasons. Cumulus is a conservative company. They really are. They're very much a play it safe kind of company. And they're not going to make a radio decision kind of, hey, let's throw the long ball. WTOP gets great ratings in Washington. CBS started WNEW back in January. Its ratings haven't really done much since then. It's been down in the 30s. It's maybe showing a little bit of traction. If you look at some of the latest numbers, it's inching its way up. So, I wouldn't write them out. I wouldn't write them off. But WNEW, it just didn't, it's been on the air now for going on 5-ish, almost 6 months. And, again, I have said signal. It just doesn't have that inside the Beltway signal. And an inside the Beltway signal would help it. But anyhow, will Citadel, or Cumulus, do that with WMAL? I doubt it. I really strongly doubt it. Number one, because, WNEW isn't getting such great ratings. This market may be already overall newsed. And, WMAL, I think it needs fixing. I do. And I think perhaps it could maybe a more of a traditional news talk format would help it in that they take their morning and afternoon drive into a news wheel format, and then keep the rest of the station talk. That, I think, might be better. What WMAL does now is not that kind of, it's a news talker all the time. They have the morning show, which is newsy, but it's not really a news format. And then they plug into Sean Hannity on the satellite for the afternoons. So it doesn't really have that WSB model or that WRVA model even, where they have, the news wheel in the morning, the BAL model, where they have the news wheel in the morning, news wheel in the afternoon, and then talk the rest of the time. But that could help. That could maybe be what WMAL needs to do. Maybe that kind of, talk in the non-rush hours and then put in that news wheel in the rush hours, that might be the way to go. Who knows? I don't know. What do I know? So what's the other big news? Is there anything else? Pretty slow period here as we end the month of May. Jane Watrel is leaving Channel 4. Jane's been at Channel 4 since 1999, so that's been about 12 or 13 years. She's going back to Atlanta, where from she came. She used to be a reporter at WFTV down there. What did I say? Orlando. Did I say Orlando? It sounded like I said Atlanta. She's going to Orlando. I think I said Orlando. She's going to Orlando to work for the Orange County Sheriff's Office down there, where she'll be the public information officer. As I was trying to say, was that before 1999, before she joined WRC, she worked at Orlando's WFTV for 8 years. Yes! And the Washington Post on Sunday actually got around to acknowledging that Dave Feldman is leaving Channel 5 as their sports anchor after 12 years. The Post reported the news on their DC Sports blog the day it happened, and we did too. But, nothing in the print edition, which was odd. That was last week. They let it go for 4 days and then finally said, I guess those print people who pay for all that money for the newspaper, I guess they need to know too, right? So they slapped it in there. I like, Dan Steinberg does Sports Bugs, good guy, and I like his pieces and all that. And he did a good piece on the mass exodus of DC sportscasters, including Feldman. But yeah, they really should have done something in the print edition before Sunday on that one, don't you think? All right, folks, that's Dave TV for today, the Tuesday, the 5th of May. The 5th of May. No, the 29th of May. That's the 29th of May. It's the 5th month, 29th day. There you go. So there.